As y'all can see my hat today, man, it is by Into the AM. You know, we had to go with that smooth, sleek look. This low key, like, this your look right here.
I know.
This is your look, bro.
I know.
This is your look, bro.
It's a good hat, man. I've worn it multiple times.
I will say this, man. It is very comfy. It's very breathable, too. You can see the mesh on the backside of it, man. Keeps the hat nice and smooth. But more importantly, we got promo codes, ladies and gentlemen. So if you use the promo code MOATS10, all right, MOATS with the number 10, you will receive 10% off of your purchases at Into the AM. Website is right there, intotheam.com. But man, it's awesome, man. The graphic tees they have, the basic t-shirts that they have. Obviously, me and Deke always talk about our contrast and style. I'm more of the graphic t-shirt guy. Deke's more the basic t-shirt guy.
Yep.
But the beauty with Into the AM is they have packages where you can get monthly subscriptions where they send you their freshest, newest color schemes, whether you want the basics or if you want the graphics, all for really nice pricing. And like I said, you can use that promo code that's right there on the screen to add to the pricing discount with that as well. So big time shout out to the homies at Into the AM.
Someone brought up lifeless in the comments. I felt that way. Now, outside of the coordinators here, do you think Tomlin has potentially lost the locker room in a way, or like his voice is gone stale a little bit?
I don't think he's lost the locker room. The stale part, I am 50-50 on. When I think of stale, I think of like if we had a veteran group that's been here with him for a while, like with the Pens, with their previous coach, right? It was like, yo, that group had been together for years. They had that same coach, and it was like, yo, they're just not responding to him. But with this group, we got a ton of new bodies, new faces. Now, granted, some of us through injury, some of us through free agency, but to me, I don't necessarily think that he's lost the locker room or that they went stale on him. But what I do think is he might need to, lay the hammer down. And when I mean by lay the hammer down is
changes,
right? Big changes sends messages to everyone in the organization. It lets all of us know that, hey, none of us are safe. It lets all of us know that what we've been doing, it's not good enough. It lets us all know that the status quo can no longer be the status quo. The standard is currently not the standard. And if he makes difficult decisions, coaching wise and player wise, I do feel the ripple effect gets the results that we want in terms of guys taking a lot more serious, in terms of guys throughout the week. The details are part of the work. I think that improves. But right now, there is a sense of comfort. There is a sense of, hey, man, what we've been doing, even though it's not the best, well, he ain't go bench us. He ain't go fire this guy. He ain't go do this. And that's been the case.
And that's fair mid-season, sure, because we talked about
right, because
Bush.
You're trying to win.
Who are we going to replace Bush with right now?
Spillane was out there. I ain't feel like it was that big of a difference, did you?
I'd rather have had Bush.
So
at least over these last two games.
But
Bush
I will say this, the biggest difference would have been what? It would have been 5 tackles versus 13?
Maybe a little better in coverage. Maybe.
Okay, so it would have been 7 tackles instead of 13.
Was it that drastic if we put Bush out there that our defensive performance is different? I get what you're saying.
I'm just simply saying, like, was it that big? Yeah, like if Bush is out there, do you think our defense was any better?
Are you surprised if it would be the same result if Bush was out there? Probably not. Is it a little bit better? Maybe.
I mean, coverage wise, you can make a case maybe.
Well, with Bush, I think the whole conversation too at the time was Spillane was hurt. Like we were saying, Can we replace Bush? Who can we replace him with? Yeah. And Spillane was even out. Because that would have made more sense at the time, but I think we only had like Buddy Johnson or like Marcus Allen available. But even there was talks about bringing in Buddy Johnson.
But I'll say this though, even in this past game,
he was inactive, right?
Yeah, but Buddy, Marcus Allen, and Devin Bush. But I will say this: Ulysses Gilbert was out there.
He was.
He got snaps. He could be a coverage guy, right? I mean, that's my thing. Like for everything that we quote unquote say that Devin would surefire bring to us, things that people have been saying all season that we still have not seen. I just don't feel like it would have been any different if he's out there versus Spillane or Schobert. I just don't think that any of those guys have done anything drastic to separate themselves. And that's the other reason why I say if you're talking about making changes at times, not saying that you make it now, but at a time, yeah, that would have been a change because I don't think that he was planned to that extent to have that long of a leash. But when you talk about potentially losing a locker room, you talk about guys going stale. Imagine if I'm a guy who's busting my tail all the time and I make one mistake, James Pierre, a couple mistakes, you yank me right on out the lineup. Devin Bush, you watch him play all season. What's he been looking like? But yet you give him every single opportunity. Not saying that is why guys have reacted or guys have lost interest in Coach C. Not saying that that's the case or anything, but I'm not saying that I would be surprised if they were affected by those type of moves either.
Mixed signals.
Yeah, because it's like, how you going to get on me and bench me and tell me I'm not doing well? But we all know what this guy's doing. What's the difference? He was drafted 10th overall. I was undrafted. You see what I'm saying? Like, not saying that is the case. I want to be clear about that. Not saying that is the case.
That's just one example.
But that could be an example because it's human nature. That is a part of it.
And we're seeing it with James Washington now, too.
Absolutely. Like,
do you see that?
I've seen it, man.
Like some pictures.
I've seen that. That social media get you, bro.
I checked this morning.
That social media get you.
He unliked them.
Right.
What's interesting about that is I think all the fans would rather have him in than Ray McCloud.
I personally would. But once again, we can't, like, if you're James Washington right now, you could feel a little bit like James Pierre in a sense. Training camp, y'all weren't using me. I asked to get traded. Chase goes down, you keep me. You tell me I'm going to be here. Season comes around, trade deadline over, still heavy Chase. Now, Juju goes down, you put in Ray. Like, do you love me? You love me enough that you ain't want to trade me, but you don't love me enough to play me with Ray McCloud, who depth chart wise, when we were talking receivers, we never viewed Ray over James Washington. Right. But if you're James Washington, it's like, man, how do you, and that's one of the things I do say, I at least commend his professionalism. Because I've been in situations like that where, yeah, it sucks, bro. You coming in week after week and you're like, bro, are you for real right now? Like, but yeah, you expect me to come out here and give every effort in practice, show up on game day, be hype, do all the little things right, block, high five guys. It's like, yo, you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? When you 10, 12 weeks in and you feel like you're getting slighted continually after you've already voiced your displeasure and the one guy that was quote unquote above you on the roster who's not even available in terms of Juju, right? Slot, he's not even there and you're still not getting opportunities, you're still not getting targets. Yeah, mixed signals again, right? Because you say to yourself, well, that guy ain't balling out, that guy did some bad stuff, you still let him play, starting him, he gets targets, he gets opportunities, why don't I get mine? Like, those are the things that can happen in the season. I don't know if that is currently happening, but from my experiences, those things do happen.
Yeah, those are things that we're questioning from the outside looking in.
And then you throw in losing on top of it, and it just makes it the perfect storm of dysfunction.
Yeah, if James Washington, for him, the worst thing he did was like a couple pictures after we lost yesterday. Right. Yeah, he's been keeping it pretty professional throughout the year.
He's been chill, and he's had plenty of reasons to not be chill. Plenty of reasons to voice his displeasure. Plenty. But he continues to do what he's supposed to do. But that's just the dynamic at this level. And that's what you always hear when you hear me talk about politics at the NFL level. Some of that stuff is involved with it, whether it's a relationship between a coach and a player, whether it's draft stock, whether it's a GM's vision. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just are like, bro, this makes zero sense to me. I hate everything about this. And they just simply say some things are above you. Some things are above, football. And that's where he's like, all right, it's management. All right, this is a decision from up top. You can't control it.